I don't know what I'm looking at here. So Kirsche, you're going to need to guide us through this.
Sure.
So what exactly is this boardready.io? What am I looking at here?
So there is the Reuters news website is owned by the Thomson family in Canada. And if you look at the board of directors for Thomson Reuters, one of the people on the board of directors is a woman named Deanna Oppenheimer. And Deanna Oppenheimer set up two companies, Cameo Works and Board Ready. And Board Ready is Deanna's company that basically injects diversity into C-suite and boardrooms. So her entire company's goal is to find people based on race or gender or whatever and put them into boardrooms.
I have a question. You see statements like this: diversity drives better results. What data do they have to show that?
There was the McKinsey study that claimed to show that more diverse companies have higher profits, but just because it's happening doesn't mean there's a correlation, right? You can't really say like these companies would have done better or worse if there weren't these diverse people there. And there's even an article in 2021. I think it's called a GeekWire, the website, maybe. I'm not sure. But there's an article there in 2021 where these people directly admit, well, there is no correlation between diversity and higher profits, but if we keep telling companies that, they'll keep hiring diverse talent, and that's the goal. And even if there's no correlation, what's the harm in having more diversity in the first place? So, like, they directly admit they don't have any numbers, they don't have any real studies, they don't have any proof that this is actually helpful, but they push it anyways. And they push it because this is a good way to inject their ideology into these companies.
Furthermore, like I look at this and I say, it says 57% of our clients' engagements have resulted in a diverse workplace. Director diversity right here. So, like, look at this for what it is. Non-diverse, person of color, female. Okay. So really what you're looking at is female. Okay. Female is its own thing. Person of color. So what does non-diverse mean?
Well, if you look at the asterisk, it says diverse defined as a female or person of color.
Correct.
And when I've been reading through Amazon's white papers or reading through the entertainment industry's studies on things, they all specifically define, and we've known this for decades, right? People just called you racist or misogynistic for pointing it out.
Sure.
Diversity means less white people, less straight people, and less men. That is literally how these companies use that word. And again, like it's really nice to have them just say that out loud, because once they start saying it themselves, people can't use that, well, you're just a bigot language at you anymore.
Wow. So that's her, huh? Deanna Oppenheimer of all things. So the white woman is looking like it's always the white woman, man. It always is. It's always the white. It's always a team
Sometimes
of white women. Okay, so this is a consultancy firm that is going in and helping companies be more diverse, huh?
Yep.
Okay. What is theconversation.com? What is this?
Theconversation.com. Let me see where my website is here. This is about how they're changing language and they're going to be focusing on belonging. Now, belonging in their language means, hey, we've spent too many years telling white men, you're the root of all evil, you're the problem, you don't have a voice here, shut up, sit down, and let the other people speak. And now that they've realized, oh wait, there's a lot of white men in all of these industries. We kind of need their help if we're going to transform the entire industry to follow our ideology. And so this is basically talking about how they're going to be talking more about belonging, that everyone can come to the table and now have a place. So you're going to see a lot of companies start talking about how they're going to be including whites and men in everything again, right? Like some of these diversity initiatives have been like, oh, well, we're a Black Women in Education fund, but everyone can apply, right? You know, it's equality of opportunity, because even though it's a Black woman fund, everyone can apply. So if you're a white man, you can apply. You're not going to get accepted, but you can apply. So now you know that you belong.
Well, do I belong? In reality, Kirsche, do I belong?
I would say in reality, yeah, but these people definitely don't live in reality.
Okay. So they're rebranding, and I remember talking about this, a couple times ago when you were on the show, talking about the rebranding of DEI to Bridge, and this has been a constant theme on, when you stream and talk about this stuff. You've done some real digging. You've been doing the work.
I've been doing I'm a dirty little digger, man.
Whoa, easy, easy. She said digger. By the way, everybody, I want to point that out.
There's a great clip. I think it's from the Home Shopping Network, and they're selling like a gardening trowel, and the woman selling the gardening trowel says it's a dirty little digger. So that's where I get that joke from. Literally like a Home Shopping Network thing.
Oh my god, that's funny. I love it. Okay, so we have this also. What is this Ghost Archive link that you sent me as well?
The Ghost Archive link, I think, is an article that everyone should read in its entirety. They are telling you point blank exactly what they're going to be doing, how they're not getting rid of DEI, how they're going to be lying to you, and why all of this is important. It is an incredible article, and even if nobody has time to like go through all of my videos or go through all of my long tweets on this subject, this article is like required reading for people who want to know what's going on.
So where's this article originally from?
This is from Thomson Reuters.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure it was archived.
Right.
This is why I brought up Deanna Oppenheimer as well, because she's on the board of directors for Thomson Reuters, and this article is on their website.
Okay, and the idea is reshaping the language to focus on performance here. Okay, this is what we're talking about. I found myself talking to CEOs about performance and about organizational development, leadership development, and belongings, and not using words like diversity that perpetuate it as a non-integrated strategy. When it's not consistently aligned with performance, it becomes a risk of being siphoned off, isolated, and overly scrutinized. See, there you go, right? So they're changing that language right there. The idea of talking about performance and not using words like diversity along the way. And I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to all this is that nobody cares about diversity. What they care about is forced diversity. Right?
Well, this is why subversion of language works so well, right? Because when they say diversity, and again, they've been admitting that diversity is just less men, less white people, less straight people, etc. But us, who live in the real world and use the actual definition of words, we're like, yeah, diversity in and of itself, like naturally, is a good thing. Like diversity of thought, especially, is a great thing. Like, normal people don't look at a friend group and be like, there's not enough Mexican people here. Like, that doesn't happen. But the way that they're using the words is a way to co-opt how we communicate with each other. So when we say, like, yeah, normal diversity is a good thing, but forced diversity is bad, they just say, yeah, that's just diversity. And you are agreeing with us because we also think that diversity is a good thing. It's just like with Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter, the name in and of itself is a subversive term because you can't criticize something like Black Lives Matter without being called a racist. So they use that to deflect all criticism from what their actual goals and messages are.
Right. It's a common theme when it comes to this. By the way, we put the link in the chat if you guys would like to read this article for yourself. The link is there for you guys. So the overall arch here, Kirsche, is that DEI is not going away. I mean, we're seeing it obviously with Pokemon Company. They're fully going into it. And while you may the letters DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, the words may be going away, the intention is not.
Pretty much, exactly. And in some of these articles that I've linked to you as well, I have been hypothesizing ever since I started digging into Bridge that they are foregoing short-term profit for the long-term cultural victory, right? And like the way most of us can fight back is obviously by voting with our wallet, but they have a massive amount of revenue that they can use to build this up, even if they're losing like $2 million on Suicide Squad or $4 million on Concord. Like, this is a massive beast that spans so many industries. which is why I try to get as many people talking about this as possible, because it's like, how do you defeat something if people aren't talking about it even? And I forgot what I was going to say. Sometimes my brain stops working mid-thought.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Mine does too, all the time. So you also sent over an article about how universities are not using DEI as well.
And I remembered my train of thought. The articles that I linked to basically confirm what my hypothesis was. They themselves are saying, even if you're facing some struggles in the short term from opposition or from lack of financial resources, the goal and the focus should be on the long term. So they themselves are reinforcing the fact that, yeah, we're going to face issues in the short term, but those losses will not matter if we win in the long term.
Do you think that the companies that are pushing this, do you feel that when it comes to, I mean, obviously we talk about, you know, BlackRock and these companies investing in these companies, right? The idea of the short-term loss versus the long-term gain, it seems, I mean, it's so fucking evil. Like it really is.
It is.
It really is. It's so fucking evil. I don't really know what to
say. I
mean,
any kind of communism has been, right? Their whole mantra is, well, real communism just hasn't been tried. So now they're mixing together like Gramsci tactics, like I said earlier. They're mixing together Marxism. They're using critical theory. They're doing all of this to usher in what they think will be the real version that just hasn't worked before, right?
This is a mess. What a mess.
Yeah.
So do you think that the pushback that they've seen was anticipated from the start? The pushback of DEI in the corporate setting and just from online conversation. Do you think that they anticipated this, or do you think that everyone was going to like lay down and be like, oh, okay, that you think that they anticipated having to rebrand it?
I think there's probably some anticipation, but I do think that we've done a good job at trying to push back, especially in the gaming sphere, right? Like, I think a lot of the journalists who are for this, a lot of the people who infiltrated game development who are wanting this, were a little bit blindsided by how much pushback that there has been and how much losses that they are incurring. And we can also see in like, I will say, I do think that the Tractor Supply Co. is one of the companies who was like, hey, this is bad, and we actually don't want anything to do about this. So I think Tractor Supply Co. actually did remove themselves from the DEI nonsense. And hopefully that will stay true. But it's like, we need more companies to be doing that, is what we need to do. And if we're able to even get one of them to break free, like with Tractor Supply Co., I think that is huge. And that means that we can keep making this noise, we can keep noticing, we can keep voting with our wallets, and hopefully more and more companies will start being like, okay, this is more than what we wanted to take on. Your long-term goal does not align with what our long-term goal is. We want out.